Alright, what's good, y'all? Welcome back to, welcome to Top 20 Albums of 2023. It was I'm gonna be honest, it was kind of a mid-year in just terms of like albums. Like there was a lot of good albums, don't get me fucked up, but I feel like there wasn't a lot of like landmark shit. Like there wasn't anything like genre defining or like fucking crazy, but you know, we still ball, we still do the list. I'm gonna try to keep it concise. If I go on a fucking rant about shit or like ramble about stuff, I'm sorry about that. But yeah, we about to kick it. I'm about to waste no time. I know y'all busy, but I hope y'all enjoyed the video. Subscribe if you new, like the video if you enjoyed it. Let's get in at number 20. At number 20, we got Scriptures by Devstacks. So this album is really good, self-produced. Devstacks, amazing producer, amazing vocalist. I think he's really got a unique sound going with the kind of like, I don't know, I don't want to call it Christian theme because I know the album is Christian themed and just like religion and shit. But I feel like generally his beats have a lot more power to them and a lot more just like oomph. They sound very grand, and it's not like, I wouldn't say it's regalia, like it's like a evolved version of regalia. The only issue I have with this album is way too fucking short. It's way too short and all the transitions are way too long. I feel like half of the runtime is just pure transitions from song to song, and I feel like there could be like 5 more songs on this project and would be like probably top 10. But it's still really good. Go give it a listen if you haven't. Devstacks, Scriptures. Amazing project. I'm looking forward to what he does next. In that number 19 spot, we got Butcher House by Sematary. I don't know. Sematary's weird. He makes weird music. It's kind of cranked though. I feel like there's a lot more misses on this tape than there are hits, but I feel like the hits have like a very clear direction, and I feel like at least the beginning half of it is, very digestible for like new people who haven't heard Sematary and don't really like the old shit. And that's kind of how I am personally. Like I don't really like his old shit. Like there's a few songs, but like this is the shit I'm into that I can actually like listen to and not like have my eardrums just blown out. All the production is super crisp. All of it is really grungy and just like distorted, and it's not like unbearable to listen to. That's the good part. I feel like whereas trap metal is a lot more of the just kind of like actual metal sounds, I feel like this is a lot more trap oriented, but it's just still got that grunge factor and that kind of just like rawness to it that a lot of modern trap metal and a lot of the old trap metal kind of lack. And I'm not like considering this trap metal at all. I think if anything, this is just fucking aggressive trap for people that like more of a raw or distorted sound to their stuff that isn't really like, I don't want to say mixed well, but it's not mixed well in the sense that everything has to like sound completely clear or completely you know, not muffled, because I feel like that's a lot of the appeal to this tape, is that it's just like raw 808s, raw sounds, everything is clashing with each other, it's fucking clipping out the wazoo. But yeah, that's number 19. Yeah. At 18, we got If Looks Could Kill by Destroy Lonely. This project grew on me so much since the first listen. The first listen, I thought it was boring as hell. I thought it was too long. But the more I listened to it, the more I liked it. And a lot of the later cuts become a lot clearer the more you listen to them. And I feel like, honestly, nah, I'm not gonna say second half is better than the first half, but this record is really good. I feel like people just kind of wrote it off just because it is too long, and that's the reason why it's so low. I feel like if half of the songs were cut, it would have probably been like top 10, similar to Devstacks. I feel like the guitar kind of like sub-bassy melodies are really smart. I feel like Lone's voice goes perfectly with it, and I feel like he really made his own sound with it. But I do think it's getting oversaturated in how much he's putting into this one project. Because again, I feel like half of the songs could have been cut off and it still would have been like 10 out of 10 fire. But it's a fucking hour, 30 minutes or some shit, something wild. But I think all the guitar melodies are super smooth. I feel like they could also double as, you know, just like chilling in your car, just fucking riding, just relaxing. But it could also double for some hardcore crank that you could just mosh pit too. It can double as both turn up music and turn down music. I think there's a lot in this project to unpack, but I just feel like it's way too long to do said unpacking. But I think it's really clever. I think Clayco and all the producers on it are absolutely phenomenal. I think Lone could probably switch up his voice a little bit, cause I like the old tones he had on like Broken Hearts and that shit, and I feel like him just doing the I just think that repetitively is just kind of annoying. But I still love the project. I dig it. Number 18. We're going to number 17, baby.
Drill, nigga. This is not a fire drill, nigga. This the real thing.
At number 17, we got Ganger by Veeze. Now, this is a kind of straightforward record. It's nothing too crazy. It's nothing like genre bending or nothing just like super different. But I feel like it's a very good introduction for people who are not into like Detroit shit or not into like that kind of, I don't want to call it scam rap because it's not really scam rap, but I feel like a lot of people don't typically do that music scene unless they're from there, and if they do, they're not like super deep into that scene. I know when I first got in, I was just on Babytron and Babyface Ray, but then I would listen to more people and I would realize like, oh wait, there's some way better people and not all of it sounds the same, or not all of it sounds generic. And I think Ganger is a perfect example of Detroit like rappers and Detroit music just like changing it up a lot. There's a lot of chill cuts on here. There's a lot of turn cuts on here. There's a lot of cuts that you could just like listen to the bars and laugh because it's just funny as fuck. And I feel like Veeze's delivery was kind of the same throughout, and I feel like he's kind of got the lucky treatment where it's just like he's doing the same voice every time. On the other hand, I do think it's effective at what it tries to do. It's kind of just like laid back, but like in a sense it could be turned. It sounds really mumbly, but it also complements a lot of the beats somehow. I don't even know how, but like I feel like a majority of the songs on this are also really catchy too. Like I feel like I don't really memorize lyrics unless the song is like I have it going 24/7. But a lot of songs on here I remember the lyrics even when I don't listen to them that much. Everything just sticks just because it's that creative and all the bars are like, oh, okay, I see you. But Veeze is probably one of the best Detroit rappers out here right now. Say out here like I live in fucking Detroit, Michigan. He's one of the best Detroit rappers, and if you're trying to get into that scene, if you're trying to listen to more people and you haven't listened to Veeze, definitely listen to Veeze because it'll give you a different viewpoint on that whole genre. At 16, we got How Do You Sleep at Night by Teezo Touchdown. This album is a lot better than a lot of people wanna make it out to be. A lot of people are calling it garbage, and I don't really see it like at all. Like it's definitely not for everybody. I feel like it can be a little bit off-putting. Like even when I first listened to it, the kind of, I don't know what to call it, like the way he put the vocals in and it kind of sounds like an AI robot doing it. I fuck with that so much, but it put me off so hard the first time I listened to it. But I really think that Teezo is something special. It's not like crazy, like progressive or anything, I'll say. But it's just like, I don't know. I feel like he's got a really good mood going into everything he does, and that really translates to the listener. I feel like all these songs just put a smile on my face. It's just fun to listen to, and I just like feel like everything bad is just going away when I listen to this. Especially with Cuts Like Impossible. Like, how are you gonna listen to that song and not be like inspired after that shit? It's one of the funniest fucking tracks, but I love it. I love it so much. It's kind of groovy. But like everything on this project is just like, it's different, but not in the sense that like it's doing something completely groundbreaking. It just sounds different from what everybody else is doing. Cause I just feel like people are normally sad and just like want to mumble about shit and want to fucking be sad on some type. But I feel like this right here is a very it's a very happy cut. It's a very personal cut, and it's just like it feels like preparing for a future. I feel like it's a good first album to put out because it's really hammering in what he wants to do, and you can see the vision. Number 15, we got Midair by Paris, Texas. This album is really, really fucking good. If you into all that if you into like rock, if you into rap, if you into all that shit, this is the album for you. I feel like the album can get repetitive at sometimes, especially with the startups and some of the drums. But I do think every single track on this has personality, and I don't forget one song on this thing. even if you don't like one song, there's gonna be at least like 5 others that you absolutely adore. I feel like the just rawness of Louis and Felix just comes off without like an ounce of doubt. Everything they say has bite. Everything they say is tongue-in-cheek, and it really just feels like 2 best friends just doing music and doing what they love, and that's pretty much what it is. Especially considering all the music videos and like all the like promo for this. They got a really good creative vision, and I really want them to keep doing what they do because I feel like they could be one of the biggest artists in the world, and I stand by that low key. I'm gonna be honest. I feel like people just need to give it the chance to go and check them out because it's a lot of stuff to sift through, and it's a lot of stuff to get into, but once you get into it, you will not regret it. At number 14, we got Closed Captions by Shay. At first, I didn't like this album at all. Like, I thought this shit was ass. But it just took a little bit of getting used to because I feel like Shay's got some pretty unique vocal inflections. The beats are crank. The beats are like literally 10 out of 10. You couldn't make them better. That's like Chief Keef type shit. Not Chief Keef type beats like drill beats, but I mean, it's just like crank levels is up on this tape. And I feel like with Shay's new project, Kruger, I feel like it was kind of going in that direction, but I feel like the beats were just kind of like, I don't know. The beats didn't hit as hard as on Closed Captions. So that's why this one is up here. But I feel like Nettspend has a perfect way of just making beats. The hi-hat rolls are just absolutely insane, and I feel like not a lot of other people do that. I haven't really heard too much music that uses hi-hats in the way that Nate does. And I feel like with Shay's kind of, I don't want to say lazy, but it's just kind of like laid back. It's a little bit strained, kind of like Cardi on Whole Lotta Red, but I'm not gonna compare shit to Whole Lotta Red right now. But it's just crank on another level. You gotta listen to it a little bit to get into it. But I feel like Shay is definitely a contender for this generation's Chief Keef. I don't know. I feel like this tape, it just like, when you hear it, you can either vibe or you just go feral. Like I feel like the beats on this just have such a unique aura to them. It just feels kind of like relentless in that it's just like so much hi-hats are just hitting you at once. The fucking bass is going crazy. The melodies are kind of chill, but they still hit hard. I just think that the Shay and Nettspend combo is actually just perfect. And I do want to hear more from them because I feel like Closed Captions is a good start, but I'm still looking forward to whatever they release in the future. So big ups on them. At number 13, we got OsamaSon by OsamaSon. Now, I know people are probably like, why the fuck is this and Shay so high? But I feel like with what O and what Shay have right now, I feel like they're in a really good trajectory for just like the next generation of like, I don't want to say rage, but I mean like rage isn't like, that's the vibe it gives off. It's not like huge synthy melodies, but it still has like a sense of urgency. And that I feel like Shay has more relentless beats and O has more urgent beats. I feel like all the melodies on this just want to get you moving, just want to get you going. I feel like there's no break time in most of these melodies. And of course you got some like laid back cuts, kind of like Lamb Truck and Working. It's not super on that rage mosh timing, but it's still really good to the ears. And then songs like Lil O and songs like X and Sex, it's just the beats. It's heavy bass, it's urgent melodies that just keep plucking at you until you can't really take it. You just have to move, you just have to jitter or do something. It's basically like crack is what it is. And I'm making this video before OsamaSon drops his next album, so this won't be on this list. I mean, it might not be good, but I don't know, who knows. But I feel like if he keeps with this kind of sort of production where it's just like very plucky, very fast, and very high tempo and high paced, I feel like he could definitely go into a whole nother league. And I can get the Ken Carson comparisons, but I feel like A Great Chaos and what Osama is doing now is like, it's similar, but it's a little bit different. Ken Carson's A Great KF type shit is like, it's kind of grungier, it's kind of rock oriented, where I feel like Osama is just like a lot more trap and a lot more mosh oriented. But yeah, it's a great fucking project. Check it out if you haven't. You won't regret it. At number 12, we got Midnight Club by Autumn. Now, a lot of people don't like Autumn. just in general. But I don't know, man. I feel like this project is pretty good. I feel like it's a really clever use of like, I feel like some of the instrumentals kind of sound like break-ins in a bit. I feel like Two Chrome Necklaces sounds like a fucking break-ins melody. I feel like his production is really unmatched in just the underground in general. Like even people who specialize in producing don't have beats that sound as good as Twin Uzi's. And I feel like he's really like, he's overhated. He's not underrated, but he's overhated because I feel like he's got a lot of the best music in the underground, especially if you consider it in like Plug and B. And I feel like this album is just like a next logical step in that kind of genre where it's just kind of like chill melodies, but it's also kind of like rappy. All the hooks on here are catchy as well. All the melodies and all the verses are just, they just stick in your head. And disregarding any potential allegations and whatever, you know, I'm not gonna ignore it. I do think this is a good project, and I do think that Autumn is headed in the right direction musically. Let me keep that clear. At number 11, we got One of One by Hardrock. Now, Hardrock is one of the best artists of our generation. I'm gonna just keep it a buck. I think he's got a super unique voice. He's got super unique music. He's got music that just pushes boundaries. I feel like a lot of people are scared to do the things he does because he's got, oh shit. He just isn't scared to try new shit. He's got rap cuts. He's got kind of groovy like club cuts. The opening track is probably one of my most replayed songs out of the entire thing, and it's just like kind of an intro, just like kind of like somber melody ass thing. But I feel like a lot of this album is very introspective, and then the other half of the album is just it's just crank, just shit you can vibe to. And I feel like it is a kind of a, not a listening curve, but it's an acquired taste, the vocal inflections he has. His voice can be off-putting to some people, but I feel like if you are able to listen to it, it's one of the best things ever. It's also funny as shit sometimes, but I just think Hardrock got it, man. I think he got it. If he keeps going in this lane, I feel like he is gonna be one of the bigger underground artists once people actually give him a listen, because I feel like his voice is something that people have to get used to, and people have to kind of listen to a few times before they actually like see the vision. He's also just like, I don't even know how old he is. I think he's like 18 or 19, so he's young as fuck. He could really go places if he keeps on being this fucking creative, I swear to God. Number 10, we got Molecule by Torr. I feel like, me personally, I don't listen to this album all the time. Glitchcore nowadays is just kind of hard to listen to because I feel like a lot of people try really hard to just mimic the old sound that glitchcore had when it was first popping off. And there's nothing wrong with that, but I feel like there's only so much you can do with that sound. But I feel like Torr is one example of somebody who is staying with that glitchcore kind of like bass line of music, but still making it really good, really refreshing, and really like just catchy. Almost every single song on this is like, it could literally be a pop hit. Like I swear it could be on the radio. Everything on here is super catchy. Everything on here is super groovy. I think the only problem is that just the glitchcore stuff and just glitchy production in general is just hard for like the average person to get into. Like same thing with Breakins. Like when Breakins dropped Hypochondriac, like you got a lot of new listeners, but I feel like a lot of people were strayed away just because of how glitchy and how like just how strange the sound can be to somebody who's never heard it before. But I feel like in inclusion to Break-ins, I feel like Torr is definitely another artist where if you're trying to get into this type of music, this is definitely a person you go to, because everything on here is catchy, everything is written perfectly. I love the scientific kind of like chemistry theme to this album. It's really cool, and I think Torr did a good one with this. At number 9, we got Wall Socket by Underscores. I'm gonna keep it a Buckington. This album, I feel like it lacks a lot of charm that Fishmonger and Fearmonger, that whole saga had. And don't get me wrong, I think the theming to this album is really good. And if there's a whole era, I feel like over time, the story, when it becomes more clear, is gonna be like super fucking cool. But I do think that a lot of the songs on this album kind of lack the catchiness and just kind of lack like the standout that songs on Fishmonger or Fearmonger had. There's obviously cuts like Cops and Robbers that's like probably one of the best songs this entire year, but I feel like there's so much downtime in this album with songs that just don't really stand out super much, that just gets kind of boring. I feel like Locals is just kind of like, I don't know, it's like a Five Nights at Freddy's fan song. Like, I feel like a lot, that's how I feel about all the EDM cuts on this album, and I feel like it's a personal thing. I think they're good, but I just can't listen to them just because it feels like, I don't know, some fucking Minecraft shit, or it just feels like something that fucking middle schoolers are into. The low-key cuts on this album, though, I'd prefer over them, but again, it still is lacking sort of the catchiness and sort of the just overall likability. And I'm not saying I don't like it, but I feel like it's kind of hard to just pick out like a few songs that I like. Like Good Luck Final Girl is great, Uncanny Long Arms is great, but other than that, everything just kind of feels like it just melds into the album, and it's just like, oh yeah, I remember that song, but I don't really go back to listen to it, you know? But I do think there's great ideas on this album. I do think that everything in a story sense comes together, and it is a very enjoyable listen, so definitely give it a chance. At number 8, we got A Great Chaos by Ken Carson. This album is fucking phenomenal. The Great Chaos sound is really fucking intriguing. I feel like a lot of producers just on YouTube and stuff kind of are making it a little better than what Ken put out, because I do feel like some tracks, keep in mind some, do have the X treatment where they just don't really fit in place with the whole like theme or the whole aesthetic of the album. Like I feel like Singapore is just kind of, I don't like Singapore at all. Like this is just fucking generic as shit. That's the worst song on the album. I feel like songs like Nightcore, like they're good, but they don't fit in the aesthetic and the kind of like musical. I feel like, I don't know, I feel like A Great Chaos is its own genre, like literally. It's just grungy melodies, dark ass melodies that are repetitive, but they still destroy your ears. I feel like some of the songs just don't fit there. Songs like Me and My Cup, Lose It, and Fighting My Demons are perfect examples of the A Great Chaos sound. That one sound, that whole just like over the top melody, it's just like assaulting your ears with just so many sounds and so much going on that it's just like, it's overwhelming, but it's a good overwhelming. And I think that's why this album probably Ken's best, even as far to say is it's better than Teen X or Project X. While it does lack a bit of catchiness in some of the songs, I do think that the just catharsis that this album brings is a lot better than any catchiness, and it makes up for that. If Mosh albums had like a fucking Hall of Fame, this would definitely be on there, and like one of the best just mosh albums of all time. It's crazy, it's insane, and it's just like, it's just a rush of energy that never goes away because it's gonna be on repeat in your playlist for like months.
Bloodbunny, pierce, tummy, soft skirt, that I love you forever, forever, forever.
Number 7, we got Soft Scars by Yeule. I love this album so much. This album is, oh damn, I hit my mic. This album is very chill, it's very laid back. There's a few cuts that get like kind of intense, or that get kind of like pumped up, but in like a poppy way and not like a fucking rock way, except for the first track. But I feel like this entire album is just a very nice trip through fucking like cybernetic space. That sounds gay as fuck to say, but I mean, I don't know how else to describe it. Production is very subtle, but it's also very polished. It's not glitchcore, but it's got glitchy elements that kind of just fit into this whole like robot theme that she's going for. I feel like all the tracks are like cozy in a weird way, where I feel like the songs just feel like cold fucking metal, but it's still like, I would compare it to like a robot that's like meant to, oh fuck, this sounds so retarded. I don't know, it's just hard to describe. It really is hard to describe. It's a very good album. Go check it out if you're into kind of like poppy, kind of like low-key shit. But yeah, it's good, it's glitchy, it's nice, it's a cool listen. Go listen to it, motherfuckers. At number 6, we got I Care So Much That I Don't Care At All by Glaive. I I feel like overall this album is, I don't want to call it generic, but I feel like it is not doing anything too crazy, but I feel like everything on here is very catchy. Everything on here personally relates to me a lot, so it kind of struck a heart bone for me. Everything is very introspective and everything is very just looking into yourself and just addressing problems and addressing what's going on. Looking back at other things where it's like coming to realizations that you probably wouldn't have had previously just because you've been so blindsided by just life in general. Stuff you feel conflicted about, but to everybody else it seems normal, so you don't really want to say anything about it. I think it's just a very good look into who Glaive is as a person. And just, it's very relatable. It's very just like, if he can do this, you can do it too. Some of the tracks on this bitch are bops, man. Some of the tracks are nice ass poppy cuts that could be also played on the radio. Before we get into top 5 territory, I would like to thank y'all for getting this far in the video. I'm gonna keep this section short because I did this before. But if this comes out before 4K, give me the 4K. Jen said he would do Rem cosplay in Toe reveal. And that's on him, not me. So if you niggas want that, subscribe, like the video if you like it so far. If you got this far and there's some albums you think I snubbed, tell me in the comments if there's anything I left off. But we are gonna get into honorable mentions. I got 10 quick honorable mentions. Didn't quite make the cut, but I still think are amazing. You should listen to. All right, I'm gonna speed run this just because I don't have time for this. All right, number 1, Joeyy by wolfacejoeyy. Great. Everything on there is a vibe. I think Joey is definitely one of the best rising, like, I want to say pop star, but like underground rapper that sings star. He's really good. Next, we got McKinley Dixon, Beloved Paradise Jazz. I think this album sounds like old Kendrick. It's very groovy, it's very vibey, and it's very just like, it's very soulful. So I really like it a lot. It's a great album. Next, we got Candy by Yameii Online. I love all the production on this. I think the Vocaloid is kind of a hurdle for most people to get over, but I feel like if you can get past that, all the beats are super colorful. They're very just like pastel-y, and they're very just great. I think Deco really does a fucking ass load of work on these beats. Next, we got Funeral Remorse. This album's, I don't want to say theme, but just the vibe it gives off is very like, it's a unique one, definitely. I definitely think he's going somewhere with this particular sound. I feel like all the sample songs, especially, oh my God. Every Night I Lose You is probably one of my favorite tracks this year, so big ups to Funeral. Got Lovesick by Lil Shine. I was gonna put Losing Myself on the last year's list, but I forgot about it. Same with the Young KO DFTK. But I'm gonna put this on honorable mentions because I feel like Lovesick is not a step down from Losing Myself, but I do feel like this sound can get a little bit repetitive. I feel like there's gotta be a little bit more variety, but I do think it's very good. I think he's one of the best plug and beat artists probably ever. Definitely top 3. Next, we got Light Music Club by Bloody and Mental. It's very chill. It's very like, you can tell there's a lot of passion in it. I do think they're great plug and beat artists, but I do think there can be some low points in this, but I do think the highs are really, really fucking high. I feel like Bloody and Mental are really just an unbeatable combo. I feel like they're one of the best duo artists probably just in recent time. The chemistry is unmatched just overall. Like, no, like not really anybody can beat them in terms of just pure chemistry. Let Me Update My Status by Tissa Korean. This album silly as fuck. It's funny, it's cool, it's just a vibe. Just catch the vibe. Left 4 Dead by High C. I think High C got a fucking gem with this one, but I do think that shit long as fuck. And I do feel like his song structure can get repetitive where it's just like a slow build up doing the hook. And I do feel like his lyrics kind of need, I don't know, I feel like it's gotta be unpredictable because you can really just predict everything he's saying, but it's crank, listen to it, High C. Radiant by SGP West. I was gonna put a ton of SGP West albums in one thing, but the more I thought about it, I was like, nah, that's not what I'm going for. But I feel like Radiant had crazy potential, but it just fell short, and it's just kind of like, the first half of the album is fucking insane. I feel like he's really got a good, him and Okazaki, that producer artist combo is fucking insane. But then we get to the later half of the album, it's just kind of plug and be. It's just kind of like, what the fuck is this? This could have been Wes's Finally Rich, I swear on my life. But I mean, it's okay. He fumbled the bag. And then last for honorable mentions, we got Alexandria by Isaiah TG. Isaiah TG had to grow me a lot, but I feel like this album really put me on. He's got amazing vocal ideas. He's got crazy, I don't want to say crazy beat selection, but he's got good beats. I feel like if we paired his voice with just some more extravagant and just more like, I don't know, just different type beats, it would be good. But yeah, that's honorable mentions. Fuck, I've been recording for too long. This is gonna be a fucking pain to cut up. Anyway, yeah, top 5, boom. And number 5, we got After the Magic by Paranoid. This album just sounds like a fucking movie, bro. This album sounds like, I'm gonna be honest, it sounds like all the interlude parts of Frailty, but just like in one long album. I think it just sounds like a whole anime, low-key. It sounds like a bunch of anime scores in the one project. It's really nice. I don't know, it just gives me chills, man. It's just like, it's just cool as fuck. All the melodies are super nice. They're super memorable. I really have like no gripes with this album. Like, even the singing, even though it's not like the best singing ever, it's still like really fucking, it feels homemade, which is kind of charming in the sense that like everything is so grand, but even then it still just feels like a home project that somebody was just working on for a long time and they're just really proud of it. I don't know, man. This album is just different. If you're kind of into like more grand, like scory theme albums, this is definitely one to check out. At number 4, we got Ghetto Cupid by JD's or Yen. This album is really good. It's got like pretty much no misses. Nothing on it is too serious. It's all just kind of like low-key trap, and I really like that. We got one of the best singing voices in underground rap, probably just right now, maybe ever. He's kind of got this like, I don't give a fuck about anybody else. I'm gonna just make what I want to make attitude to it, and that really comes off well, because I feel like even though people might be used to like his chill shit or his like instrumental shit, but all the self-prod on this is great. All the songs that he didn't produce, he snaps on. It's really an album with no misses. It's very diverse. All the songs are short, so you're not really getting bored of one song because it's never lasts too long. There's some great flips. There's some great original cuts. There's some good old songs that he put on here. Yeah, it's just a vibe, man. This album is just a vibe. Check it out. Number 3, we got JPEG Mafia and Danny Brown, Scaring the Hoes. This album is really good, but for me personally, it's too much. Like, I can't listen to this album too much, but I do think all the sample flips, I do think, I don't know what the exact instrument that Peggy used to produce everything on, but it was produced on like a really fucking hard instrument to do shit on. There's not really much stuff that sounds like this, at least just sample wise. All these samples are super original. They're super clean. They work so well with whatever Peggy's trying to do. I feel like it kind of is hard at some points to just have the Danny Peggy combo over and over, because I feel like Danny Brown can get repetitive sometimes, especially on these beats, because while he does slide, he slides the fuck out of these beats. I do think that it's kind of hard to take all songs just having long as fuck Danny Brown on it. I do think I would have liked to see some more Peggy singing. But regardless, the album is crank. All the beats are 10 out of 10s. I don't think there's one beat that I dislike on this project. Peggy and Danny always slide, but again, I just do feel like it can get repetitive at sometimes vocal-wise. Number 2, we got Let's Start Here by Lil Yachty. This album is incredible, but I will say that, no, it's not something, it's out of this world because it's fucking Lil Yachty. Like, Lil Yachty, he's got a fucking gem piece with this album, but it is not like the most innovative thing in this space. But as terms of just like seeing his growth from just like being a rapper that people don't really like too much, and then having that switch up where he makes probably one of the best albums like of the decade so far, it really goes to show just how much creative vision Yachty actually has that just people have not given him credit for. I think every song on this project is crafted to perfection. I think he's got an insane creative vision for this sort of lane, and I know he's kind of like, he hasn't put something out like this in a minute since, but I feel like if he keeps going in this direction, he's definitely gonna come out with something that's really groundbreaking and something that just like turns a lot of eyes. Cause this album is already like a stunner in the terms of fucking Lil Yachty. Of course, I'm not gonna sit here and be like, oh yeah, he didn't produce every single song. He didn't sit there and record all the fucking instruments and everything. But there's gotta be a mastermind behind every single plan. And he's definitely taking that status of a mastermind. This album is just incredible. It's got a good intro, and the entire ride is just like, it's back and forth, but in like a roller coaster type way, not in a like it's shaky or just feels like it's gonna drop off the face of the earth at some points, and then at other points it's super high. It really is just an exciting experience just all together. I feel like every track here has purpose. Every track can go into whatever playlist you have for whatever mood. But yeah, Yachty got something special here. It's crazy.
I can't afford to have you turn back.
Now for the #1 spot, it got census designated by Jane Remover. I was having a tough time deciding the top 3 because I was thinking about it and I was like, I feel like where Peggy and Danny, all the production is like super unheard of and it's super creative and it's super good, but the vocals kind of just tone it down to where it's like, okay, that's the bad part about that. Same thing with Yachty. I think all the ideas are absolutely perfect, but it's not necessarily something we've never heard before, but it is like incredible. I feel like Census Designated is just a combination of the 2 good parts about the Peggy Danny record and Let's Start Here. I feel like all the production on this is super just moving forward in terms of just like rock. Even though these songs are like, could be 5 to 8 minutes long, every song just feels like, when you get through it, it doesn't feel like how long it is. And I feel like that's super like crucial, especially if you're gonna have songs that last up to 5, 6, 7 minutes. Because if you're listening to something and you enjoy it a lot, it goes by fast. All the production on here is super interesting. All the production on here is super, it's got texture, it's got noise to it, it's got a lot of movement. And compared to Frailty, I think the vocals on this are just on a whole nother level. Jane's getting really comfortable in a new self, and I really like to see it. Her vocals have a lot more power, they're much more confident. They hit notes that previously the Delete Zeke would probably not hit. And it shows the progression from Frailty to this album. The production has gone way up. The vocals have gone way up. Even down to the visuals, like everything on this is just upgraded. This album really nails the aesthetic and the vibe it's going for, where it's just kind of like dead grass. It's just kind of a valley, just a sunset, just everything's dilapidated and everything is just slowly crumbling. And every single song on this just hits that visual perfectly. There's no misses on the song. My favorite song on this project keeps swapping between, it keeps swapping between Lips, and it goes to Fling, then it goes to Idly Somewhere, then it goes to Backseat Girl. This album has a lot of longevity for a project that's only about 10 songs. And again, with the timing, like all these songs like sound pretty short, but in reality, they're super long, they're like 5, 6 minutes. I just think this project was so meticulously crafted that it just blows everything else out of the water. And it's also nice to see the growth between the earlier Jane, where everything was just, had sort of a nostalgic but also like homey feeling, in the sense that everything did sound homemade and everything did sound like somebody in their room just making this music. I feel like this one is a lot more polished, but it's still got some of that natural grit that this is just one person. And it's one person who really cares about their craft, and it's just amazing to see. I think it takes the cake out of this entire year. All the songs are super memorable, all the songs are super good. They keep you engaged for the entire runtime. Visuals are outstanding. Being able to see the progression of how Jane makes music has been also a treat. Good, man, it's just really good. One of the best rock shoegaze albums I've ever listened to, that's for sure. But yeah, that's probably gonna wrap it up. I don't think I got much else to talk about. Going on rambling about the albums, I guess. I would talk more about the albums, but like I don't have a script for this. Like I would write a script, but I don't want to make that video fucking like 2 hours long. But yeah, that's my list. If y'all agree, if y'all disagree, let me know in the comments. Like the video if you enjoyed it. Subscribe if you want to see more content. I film concerts if you don't know. So if you're trying to see a lot of these artists and other artists live footage, subscribe. If you're trying to see some of these music videos, rating music, reviewing music, whatever that is, I'm gonna plan on doing that too. I play video games, so I might stream sometime if you're into that. But yeah, that's the video. I don't know what the fuck else to say. Thank you for getting this far. Thank you for watching the whole shit. I appreciate you. I appreciate you, jit. Yeah, that's it. I'm Ghost. I don't even know when I'm gonna see y'all. I'll see y'all in the show rankings video. That's where I'm gonna see y'all next. Anyway, I'm gone. I'm gonna just get up. Bye. Bye. It's even picking up. I don't even know if this is picking up.